Howdy, folks. Let's get back to a little story time. This one's pretty interesting. It's a lot of action, high impact type craziness that happened. This was not probably it was the late '80s. So let me tell you, this was like some seriously crazy. I mean, I tell you, crazy. It was like people could have died during this event, and I'm laughing now because nobody did die, but some crazy things did happen. All right, so this is a story time. The next episode, I think we're up to 57 or something like. I forget where we're at, but anyway, let's get on with the story because I'm almost out of storage on my memory card. So, my good buddy Ronnie Williams, who I told you I did a tribute on a previous video, he's a trooper. He has since passed away, and that little guy, he get more trouble, not even trying to get in trouble than I could ever find trying to get in trouble. It's like anyway, he and I we pal around, and it seems like every time we got together, it was, something bad was happening. Even though we're basically trying to do good things, we just surrounded ourselves in look at the pretty wildlife back there. That's why I chose this spot for story time. But so my buddy Ronnie, he had a fiance named Frankie, and just in case any of you all worrying, Frankie was a female. All right, so Frankie had. It seems to me like I've told this story before, but I've told this story so many times I can't remember if I've already done a video on this. If I have, I'm gonna before I upload this thing, I will definitely check. But hopefully it's not redundant. But so she Frankie has a local sister. I forget what her name was. Another blonde-haired gal, an attractive young lady. They're all three of the sisters were all, they were all very attractive. And then there was another sister that had lived in Dallas, Texas. She gets invited up to the wedding as well. It's a family thing. But the bride and the groom, the two families were like the Hatfields and McCoys, right? So it was just like, oh my God, it was like I got invited to this wedding, so I requested off like it was months prior, a couple months prior, or whatever it was. It was like a Saturday or something. So I get granted that day off, and Ronnie and I we go to the wedding, and we look at each other, and we just got all we said was Ida Victor. Ida Victor was a police term, Delaware State Police term for fight. You know, we just said Ida Victor, and I said Ida Victor to him. He just kind of nodded, and we knew just by looking at it. It was like it was just trouble brewing. You could see it from the get go. So the one sister from Dallas, Texas, she starts to get sauced up at the wedding. So then they leave. Let me back up just in retrospect, just a little bit. So the wedding wasn't too bad. There was like a little skirmish, nothing too bad. Then they go to the reception, and that's when people were getting sauced up and everything. Contributed to that story in grand fashion. I might as well tip some Colorado Kool-Aid because this is too daggone funny. I laugh. I'm laughing now, but I almost got killed. Some other people almost got killed, but that's what happens in G Money's life. So we go to the reception, and the sister from Dallas, even though she was drop dead gorgeous, she was a 10. She was stone crazy. I mean, when I say crazy, I mean like certified with papers, everything. Had previous visits to institutions, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so she gets all sauced up, and all this stuff's happening. There's some fights breaking out in this reception, and I keep looking at Ronnie, and like, he's like, kind of like the family I'm kind of married. I mean, it was just great chaos. So we we ended up leaving there. So then there was after the reception party at the groom's house, it was a place called Eagle Glen in Newcastle County, Delaware. So uh, we were. I had a Chevy Blazer at the time. It was me, uh, Ronnie, and the sister from Dallas in my vehicle. Some of the other gals and stuff went in a different vehicle and everything. So for whatever reason, we were a little bit like behind all the other people arriving. So we pull up, and there's a brawl out on the front yard of this fiesta that's going to be taking place. So I tell Ronnie jumps out of the vehicle. Mind you, he's off duty. He's a trooper. He weighs 140 pounds soaking wet, maybe 140. I don't know. Maybe 150. I don't know. But back then I was pretty buff. But he gets out, and I said, Ronnie, don't even think about it. I said, don't be a dumbass. Don't even go. He's like, but Frankie's in there. And I said, and then at the sister of Frankie is trying to get out of my vehicle, and I know she is toasted. So right then, another friend of Ronnie's and a friend of mine, better friend of Ronnie's, pulls up. His name's Glenn. I said, Glenn, hold on to her. Whatever you do not let go of her. I don't care if she hits you in the nuggets. Do not let go of her. She's going to be a problem. And he looks at me like, and I was very stern. I wasn't even this polite. I was like barking out orders because I called a premonition or what have you. I knew there was trouble brewing. So I tell Ronnie, I said, if you go in there, just get Frankie and come out. Do not badge anybody. So I'm down the street, like we were literally like down the street, like probably almost 100 yards. And Ronnie goes running up there, right? All these boys that are fighting, they're all brothers. They're all like 250 pound, like look like they work at a farm, right? Ronnie whips out it. State police. I'm like, you stupid. Oh man, I was so pissed, right? So I tell Glenn, I said, do not let go of her. So I run up there, and this whole fight is breaking out in the front yard. And then they go into the house, and now they are destroying this house. When I tell you destroying, I would say probably a minimum of $30,000 worth of damage done to that house, because there was like real nice fancy china hutch and stuff and dining room tables like destroyed, like just it was just craziness. So it all goes into this dining room. It's like a split level type home, and it all these guys, and then I come around the corner and I see Ronnie pinned up in the corner and all these guys, like big dudes around him. And I remember one trooper telling me years ago, he says, if you cut off a guy's wind supply, they're not going to fight. They're going to eventually just drop, you know. So Ronnie's in the corner. There's a big dude behind him, and Ronnie's kind of trapped, and all these big brothers are all trying to fight each other. And I reach over and I grab this dude by the neck, and I just squeeze for the lip. And we had a good distance, you know, an arm's length, and he couldn't get his arms up because everybody's, you know, I'm just squeezing him, and I could see the anger in his face. And I just kept squeezing tighter and tighter because I knew if he got loose, he was probably going to kill me. So I kept squeezing him. And then I remember at that same time, Ronnie's sister, who went to Liberty University, she's on the phone with 911 in the kitchen. She's like, is this a 1040 is like, you know, poops about, you know, troopers about to die. So I said, hell yeah. Look around, you know. So I kept squeezing that guy. He drops like a sack of bricks. Anyway, he ends up, that was it. And then, you know, everybody's now we're kind of moving towards the front door, and I know police are coming because I could hear all the sirens, and there was probably like 100 police cars coming. And next thing I know, Sergeant Baylor, who was a county police officer, he comes through the front door, and I'm coming around the corner. The girl from Texas punches him, doesn't even slap him, just for no reason, just punches Sergeant Baylor right in the face. And he sees me, and he kind of takes the punch, and then he's throwing her, and he's looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I just gave him the look, like, how can I explain it in a look, But anyway, so that was craziness. There's going to be more to the story. Oh, by the way, she got released from court with a $25 fine for assaulting a police officer, and the groom spent the night in jail. I'm going to follow up with this story. We're going to talk about this later. Peace out, folks. Another part is coming soon.